Welcome back on this new video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can get a notification whenever I upload a new content. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can quickly actually have a quick view of your data set of a given table, in your database while using Google Cloud. So right here we are on Google Cloud, and this is my my database here. So I have different databases here, the data content and all of that. I'm using here on the SQL workspace. So that's what I'm using here, BigQuery. Now what I'm trying to use here, I'm gonna use this table right here. We talk about customer purchase, right, which is inside this table schema is inside actually this schema. So customer data, right, and then within it we have this customer purchase. That's what I'm trying to use. That's the table that I'm trying to use. So the first thing I want to do, and actually if we want to have a quick look at it, we can just click on it. It's going to give us a glance of what we have: the field name, the type of data, the mode, and so on. So we have all of that, and we can even edit. If you want to edit it, we can do that quickly. And there are some little stuff that we can do right here. Now over here, what I'm trying to do here is just to run a quick query. So let me click on query here in a new tab or in a split tab. So if I want to, I can use a quick query in a split tab, or I can use it in a new tab. It is up to me, right? I can use a split tab. So we still have a window open here, and on the left side we'll still see the schema of our data set. So the first thing I want to use select star. I want to use select star, right? And again, when you use select star in BigQuery, this is the name of my database, and then it comes to my schema, and the third component here is actually the table, right? Limit 1,000. So I don't want to limit anything. It's a very small data set. There is no need of limiting anything. We can run this quick query and see what we have here. It's going to show us let me make this bigger and then close a little bit on this window so we can see our data set. So this is what we have here. We have a date component in our data set, the transaction ID, the customer ID, the product they are selling. We have bed, fan, and so on. So the product and so on. So clearly you will see, and this is this is actually the main focus of this video, is just to show you when you have a data set like this. This is a very small data set, just to showcase the point I'm trying to make here. In a real life sense of it, you have millions of data, right? You have millions of records. You are dealing with maybe sales data. You are dealing with whatsoever. In a database, you have bunch of data, right? Because it's a record, record of customers, or whatever the case may be. So you have millions of records, and you cannot just start scrolling. This is difficult to see, right? And then when it comes to column, you may have like hundreds of columns, 100, 200, thousands of columns. So you will not be scrolling, and you can see, you can clearly have a great look of what your data actually is about. And the best way to do this, first of all, you have two options, and I'm going to, the first option is the first option. I think that this is what I did right here. When I come to a table, you just click on the table and you can see the field name that you have, the data type, and so on. That's the first one. And the next one that I want to show here, when you have your data set, you run a query, right? You run a quick query. You want to select everything from your data set. And now again, if it's a very large data set, you can just limit, like the query say you can limit it to 1,000 data points, 1,000 rows or 2,000 rows and whatever, just to have a quick look of the data and see how many columns, how many columns you have in the data set, and the kind of course we have some characteristics of the data set here, but you want to see like say over here, for example, I have the product color. We have brown, brass, green, and so on. So you have the characteristics of each row. For the product code, I do know the product code here is a string, but I don't know what it looks like. But over here we have SKUs, right, and so on. So you can quickly with BigQuery. That's what makes BigQuery very interesting, because you can just export your data to Local Studio, and that's the point I was trying to make here. You can use the Local Studio. You can export your data to to explore it with a sheet, Google Sheet, or a collab notebook. Again, you will run some code to explore your data. It's up to you. Do you want to go to Colab, which is more like Python, or Google Sheet, which is like Excel, definitely. And there you can use the Looker Studio. And my own here is to preview my data with the Looker Studio. It makes it very interesting and very interactive. So we go on Looker Studio here, and let's wait a little bit. It's loading. So it's going to export the data set, to Looker Studio. And there we go. So by default, this is what selected, the product and the product ID. And you can see how the product colors go with the product ID here. So we have two different tables. This is product color and product ID, right? And then this one is the table is a product here and product ID. Well, it's not quite what I'm interested in, right? Clearly you see here, let me see. Okay, so here is not really giving us any good information. What we want to see based on the characteristics of our data set, we may want to look into the product revenue by date, like, and see what particular period of time a particular product is we have our highest revenue, because we have the revenue here at the date. And the second one we want to do is like look at the revenue by maybe product color, and then the product type. So the first thing that one may want to know, like like at a glance, is to look into the different product and coloring that are actually selling more. That would be the first thing that one may want to know. So, and to do that, we can actually update this one right here and change this. I don't want to use a transaction ID here. I want to use something different. And the metric that I will use here will be the revenue. Okay, so we'll use the revenue here, and here I need the product, and then I don't need the product code actually, but I will need the product color. So these are the two dimensions that I want to use here: the product and then the product color. And then when it comes to metric, I want to use the revenue. So, and again, this is not really intuitive. We can get rid of this. Yes, we can delete this because it's not really intuitive. And come down here, let me make this bigger. Okay, so here I have actually the product and then the revenue, right? So let me get rid of the coloring here. What I want to do is just come up with a bar graph. So we can go here to chart, a column chart. So that's the first thing that we have here, a column chart, right? And clearly what we see here is like the couch are selling more than any other stuff, and we can order this actually in descending order. So we can sort by revenue, we can sort by product, and here I want to sort it by revenue, a product that is selling more. So this is what I want to do here. So couch is selling more, followed by rug, bed, and so on. See, when you come to couch, we have different color of couch. When you come to rug and so on, bed, we have different beds. So I want to break it down, by the product color and see what product are actually selling. So my product color is right here, so I'm gonna use that. And clearly you can see couch is highest, is actually selling more. Let's again do what we did earlier, sort by revenue. Okay, great. So when you look at it, right, couch is selling. Couch has the highest sales here by revenue. Now the type of couch that has the highest sale is the gray color, which is the blue here. The gray couch, the gray couch is selling, has the highest sales, followed by this one, the white couch. So when you run a query and the output of the query is huge, it's very huge, and you have no idea, you want to have a quick view. You want to have in a nutshell, right? In a nutshell, you want to have a quick look of actually you want to do I would say an exploratory of your data and see what's the component of the data, what you can quickly look into. That's the best way to do it. It's just to visualize your data. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one.